As you can see on my background back there, that's Curtis Mayfield came through to take over the mic. I hope you enjoy Curtis Mayfield. He was a great artist from the 60s and the 70s. You might remember him from his hit Superfly. This one is called Don't Worry, Curtis Mayfield. We got a couple more minutes to go. Enjoy the music before we get started. This is The Mic is Live. I'm your host, Leroy Adams, coming at you, trying to build this platform. So we hope that you guys can be a part of it. I always tell you, we're not looking for any donations right now. What we need are the numbers. We need you guys to get over to the YouTube channel and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so that we can go to some sponsors and get some sponsorship for the radio station. The whole goal is to get rid of this Facebook platform and get off the YouTube platform and develop our own radio station. We've been reaching out to some guys that we grew up with. Mike Fly from Queens, his brother Alvin from Queens, and a couple of other people that we've done some things with in the past. And we want to put together this radio station. So we need the help. We need you guys to help us out. You know, let's get these numbers up. We need you to get over to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel, so that when we go to the sponsorship, we can let them know that we got a following, and their money will be will be well spent if they back us and contribute to our platform. Gonna check the time here, see where we at. All right, it's 2 o'clock, so you know how I am about time. We're gonna do something, do it right, do it on time, be on time. So welcome to this week's edition of The Mic is Live. Once again, I'm your host, Leroy Adams, coming to you from the place where the hits are being made. We want you to, like we said, we don't want any donations or anything like that, but if you do want to contribute some money, what you can do is go to iTunes, Spotify, well, any online music outlet, and download the album. You can download the whole album, or you can just pick out a song that you like. We kept everything reasonable because we know how folk got to pay them bills, and we're not trying to, you know, get rich while our people are suffering. But we do need the financial help, but we don't want donations. We want you guys to get something for your money. So go buy the album. It's still on sale. Tears is still on sale. I'm editing the new stuff that's going to be coming out soon. I got some gospel stuff coming out with my brother and his wife, and my niece is doing some things. So we've been busy back here. You know, fortunately, I'm in a situation where I could put in some time, at least 8 hours a day, working on some new material. We just finished a song yesterday, actually, and this one's gonna be a little bit of rock and roll, a little bit of R&B, you know, a little bit of everything. So we hope that you enjoy Tears. We hope that you enjoy the music that's coming at you. We're gonna be putting out a blues pretty soon. Like I warned you guys before, I'm going to say it again so nobody be coming up on me on the street talking about, how could you have my daughter listening to stuff? Listen, the blues is explicit lyrics, all right? This is for adults. It's an adult blues song, all right? So if your 14, 15-year-old kids walking around the house singing the blues that I put out, ain't my fault, because I'm telling you now, it ain't for them to be listening to, ain't for them to be playing. It's for grown-ups, it's for grown folk, it's grown folk music, that particular one. But Tears, anybody can get, that's for anybody, so. But the blues that's going to be coming at you pretty soon, that's for adults, all right? All right, so like I said, there's a lot going on in the news. A lot of things happening. Of course, everybody's talking about the sex scandal around Harvey Weinstein. This man's been assaulting and disrespecting women for years in Hollywood. It's now coming out. A lot of women are coming forward. A lot of powerful women too. Women you wouldn't expect. You know, when I heard Angelina Jolie, Tomb Raider, the woman that played Tomb Raider, she was molested by this dude. You know, and the one thing that struck me, I heard a lot of people saying, "Well, why they didn't come forward sooner?" and all that, which is true. You know, you might make an argument that somebody's being molested, and this is beyond their status in life, just in everyday life. If a man, woman, or child, because a lot of times it happens to a lot of men. You know, I heard Terry Crews was groped by a director, you know, and they need to start outing these people, you know. But, you know, my thing is that's not the issue. You know, we shouldn't be victim blaming or victim shaming, asking why they didn't come forward. There's a lot of reasons why people don't come forward, you know, but the main focus should be, why did this creep or any creep violate somebody else's space in the first place? That's the issue, and that's the issue that we need to focus on and be dealing with, you know. Like I said, a lot of women are coming forward from Hollywood, powerful women, saying that this creep, Harvey Weinstein, molested them. And, you know, I am not going to go there, but, you know, you look at his last name, and you got to wonder why the cops were kind of slow on charging him. You know, and they had it on tape, him admitting groping this woman, because they set up a sting with a model that he had molested. And that's what kicked off the whole thing. And now women are coming out of the woodwork saying, yeah, he did it to me too. In fact, I forget his name, the guy that's producing that show, The Orville, and he does Family Guy. Y'all know who I'm talking about. McFarlane. He did a joke about him announcing the Emmys a couple of years ago, and nobody picked up on it. You know, but it just goes to show you that the culture that is prevalent in our society and how people are protecting the molesters more than they're protecting the victims. And we need to get off that kick, man, you know, protecting people just because of their status or whatever. You know, like I said, there are many reasons why people don't come forward. You know, there's the shame and the guilt, and, you know, sometimes the victims feel that it's their fault. I was listening to Dave Chappelle last night, one of his old comedy routines, and he was talking about how, you know, you shouldn't, just because a woman dressed a certain way, you shouldn't treat her a certain way, you know. And he made a joke about it, you know, if you wear a certain uniform, you know, it can be confusing. But, you know, still in all, you know, we whenever somebody does come forward and they say something, right away we want to talk about, well, what'd you do or how'd you act? You know, that's not the issue. You know, the issue is that this guy was a creep, and, you know, if you are a victim of this man or any other person, you know, because we know, you know, I remember when I was studying certain types of abuse, sexual abuse, and one of the things that were brought out is that it happens by a family member more often than not, somebody that's close to you. You know, so there's a lot of reasons why people don't come forward. So we shouldn't be, we shouldn't be victim blaming or victim shaming, you know. However, I do say, if you're one of those people that don't want to come forward just because you don't want to ruin your career, for me, that's a problem, you know, because then you're putting other people at risk just so that you can make $1. And I have a problem with that, you know. You know, if that's your only reason for not coming forward, you know, grow a pair, stand up, and step forward and let people know that there's a creep in their midst. You know, because 9 times out of 10, if they're doing it to you, it's a pattern. They're doing it to other people. You know, and I just hope that people find the courage to step up and let people know that this is happening, and so an individual can be dealt with. It just boggles my mind that this guy was able to get away with this for years, and the men in Hollywood knew that he was doing it. Like I said, Seth MacFarlane made a joke about it, and nobody was doing anything to help and protect these women. And we talked about this before when we examined the family structure as to the primary reason or the primary responsibility of a man is that of the protector. You know, your primary responsibility as a man is to protect the women and children and elders of your community. I see George has joined me. How you doing, George? Good to see you, my brother. It's very important that as men, we step up. And I for one, if any of the women in my family ever came to me and told me that somebody molested them, touched them, and said something inappropriate, it's going to be a problem. That individual's going to have a problem, a very bad problem. And that might be one of the reasons why, again, as I studied this, and George, I know you probably took some of those classes too, as an educator, when we looked at reasons why people don't report sexual abuse, is because they're afraid of the reaction of other people. Young girls don't tell their fathers because if they got a father like me, they know what their father would do. So sometimes they keep it to themselves just so that their father won't react and end up in jail for killing a brother. But, you do more harm to yourself, you do more harm to your family than good by keeping information like that to yourself. If somebody's molesting you or touching you or bothering you in any certain way, let somebody know. And if you're afraid, that, your father, your brother might go ham, that's understandable. You don't want them to get in trouble. Then you let somebody else know. You can talk to, if you're involved in a religious institution, talk to your preacher or your priest, talk to a teacher, talk to somebody and let them know that you're going through this so you don't have to go through it alone. Because this man was in Hollywood for years doing this, and people just turned a blind eye. And it's a shame that, so many women are coming forward now, and you're seeing how deep this man's problem was and how deep it ran, and he really needs to be dealt with, but I'm not even going to go there. Okay, also in the news, we want to talk about Puerto Rico once again. Shout out to the people of Puerto Rico dealing with the issues down there. The death toll is still rising. And from what I understand, the death toll is rising due to the lack of resources in the response effort, not so much because of the initial damages that the hurricane did, but more so because of the lack of response coming from the Orange Man in Chief. It's a shame that, they're not getting the help that they need. This is they are American citizens, and then they're not being helped the way that they should. And we want to send a shout out also to the people of California. I understand that over 50 people are dead, and over 400 are injured or missing. The wildfires in California. Things seem to be happening all over the world. You have the earthquake in Mexico. You got volcanoes erupting. It's really getting kind of funky out there. So we hope that you guys are taking precaution. I was talking to my lady the other day that we gotta just stock up. Now, while things aren't as bad for us, at least. I've been looking into. There are these rations where you can buy. They last for years, and just store them, because you never know. Get your batteries, get an extra car battery that you can store away, a new car battery, store it away. Get your cases of water. Like I said, get the food rations. Get your escape plans, and these are things that you need to get together and talk to your family about. If something happens, let's say, uh, uh, God forbid, a flood or a bomb goes off, and there's confusion. All right, where are you going to meet? Get a meeting spot. A place where if people, everybody's at work or people at school, something happens and you guys got to meet somewhere, there should be a rallying point in your town or near your house where okay, if something happens to the house and we can't meet at the house, we all supposed to meet here. We're supposed to meet at the school, or we're supposed to meet at Dunkin' Donuts or whatever. Those are plans that you should be making now, because like I said, things are kind of crazy out there now, and you don't want to be caught out there, how when these storms come or fires or mass disasters, how people go in those supermarkets and everything disappear. I was watching the news, and they were announcing that the hurricane was about to hit Florida, and water went up to $20 a case, So that just shows, get this stuff now. Get your water stored away. That's water for disaster. You don't touch that. Get your food rations, get your batteries, your D cells and your AA batteries, and like I said, get a couple of car batteries if you can, because those are good for power as well. And just keep that stuff on hand, because you never know. You don't want to be in a situation like that, and you need a bottle of water, and somebody want to charge you $30 just for an 8-ounce bottle of water. People are vicious like that. I couldn't believe that when I saw that. And if it was me, anybody that did that, I'd make sure when things got back to normal, they go out of business, because you don't do that to people. Like that dude Joel Weinstein or with Olsen or whatever, didn't want to open his church and made all these excuses, talking about the church was flooded and all this, and people went and took videos, and it kills me how people are still giving this man their money, after he showed that he don't care about you, he don't care about people. The furniture store down the block from his big mega church opened up, let people sleep on the furniture and everything. Meanwhile, he was making excuses and wouldn't let people into his big old mega church that the people are paying for, So, you see how vicious people can be. So all I'm saying is get ready, get prepared, because you never know what's going to happen. I understand scientists are looking at the mega volcano in Yellowstone. They're saying it's going to erupt pretty soon. And that volcano is not a regular volcano. They say that when that goes, half of the Midwest is going to go with it. So we're talking about a very serious event. Y'all saw that movie the day after or whatever, when Woody Harrelson was playing that crazy guy, and everything went crazy. Well, that's the reality of what we're looking at. When that volcano in Yellowstone goes, it's going to go like that, and they're kind of worried that it's overdue, and they're looking at eruptions are happening, and earthquakes are becoming more frequent, which is a sign that a volcano is getting ready to erupt. There was a woman that actually was able, developed a program, because when the volcanoes are about to erupt and the magma is being pushed towards the surface, there are certain sounds that a volcano makes, and she was able to predict when eruptions were about to happen by planting microphones in the ground and hearing the ground crack in a certain way. So they're looking at all this, and they're saying that the Yellowstone supervolcano looks like it's going to go pretty soon. So I'm not just blowing smoke here, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready, get your gear ready. People out here on the coast and on the coast of California and different areas really don't have too much to worry about. I mean, we are going to be affected in terms of the mass exodus from people coming from the Midwest, and maybe the pyrotechnics and the smoke and everything that's created. But still, we want to be prepared and be ready. Things are happening like I said, all over the country, all over the world. And if you can help, we need to get out there and help people as much as we can. Also in the news, you guys heard, I hope you heard and you're ready, our president signed an executive order. He's been trying to destroy Obama's health care plan. I don't even like to call it Obamacare because that's like, that's like a coded racial thing that they had going on, like Obamacare and calling him the welfare president and all that. It wasn't Obamacare. It was the federal health care plan that's been very successful. People were signing up for it. There was some kinks and things were happening, but it was a lot more successful than what they tried to make it out to be. And he's been sabotaging it. It was people were signing up for it. He actually shut it down for a few days, talking about maintenance and all this stuff. And now, when he couldn't get Congress to pass a successful bill, he signs this executive order to do away with the subsidies that were helping people pay for it. And I understand that millions of Americans are going to have to drop their plan because they won't have the subsidies to help them pay for the premiums. So it's going to be a mess, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we can't get distracted by all the nonsense that he's doing, because you got to remember who we're dealing with. He is the distractor in chief. He'll show you these shiny objects on the left. Meanwhile, his right hand is signing away your life. So make sure, if you can't afford to pay for your own health care plan, that you keep an eye on what's going on, because he signed the executive order the other day trying to end, basically what he's trying to do, his whole presidency is about destroying Obama's legacy. And I wasn't a great fan of President Obama. I've always said that specifically for us, he didn't really do much, but as a president, for mainstream America, he's been the best so far, and I don't care what anybody say. You cannot argue that man did not save this country and kept it from going over the economic edge, and he really hooked America up. As far as our people specifically, he didn't do much. I didn't expect him to do much, but as a president, he's done better than anybody since Kennedy, in my opinion. I see Hassan enjoying the conversation. What's up, Hassan? Hassan's a great drummer, great friend of mine. In fact, Hassan was the engineer on the first album, Tears. Like I said, still on sale, ladies and gentlemen, so pick up your copy. Okay, also in the news, this last week, a gentleman by the name of Jay Morrison and the rapper T.I., they had to shut down a restaurant in Houston, and it just shows the power of the black dollar and what we can do when we unify. What happened was Jay Morrison, he's an entrepreneur. Dr. Boyce Watkins talks about him a lot. He's an entrepreneur, built his own business. I think he's in advertising and things of that nature. And he wanted to have a team meeting with his team, and he wanted to have it in the office. And they were trying to figure out what fast food they can call and get delivered to the office. And everything they came up with, nobody really had a taste for. So he said, hey, look, let's go out to a restaurant. I'll pay for it, and we'll have our team meeting. He sent his wife and a couple of his people ahead while he was wrapping up some things. And by the time he got there, his wife was upset. The people were upset because they couldn't be seated, And basically, to make a long story short, they were treated like, like they were second class citizens. And they had people coming out there, and I saw the video. You could see on one of the waiter staff and the manager, telling them, oh, we can't. First they said they can't seat that many people. Then he said, okay, listen, just seat them by themselves. My wife and my two friends, you seat us by ourselves, give us separate checks and everything. Oh, we can't do that because we know y'all came in together. And he was like, well, we're telling you to just give us separate checks, give us a separate table, and treat us like separate customers. Then they said, oh, we can do that if y'all go out and come back in. Like, all these excuses, man. You know. So finally, hey Babs, how you doing? Babs has been a faithful viewer. Uh, Glad that you joining us again, Babs. Um, so finally the brother was like, "Yo, y'all want to treat us like this? We shutting y'all down," and that's what they did. They shut them down for 2 days, and from what I understand, the restaurant is about to close down. Ti is part of his ad is good friends with him, and he came on board, and now they're actually shutting this restaurant down. You can check them out, jmorrison.net. If you're in the Houston area, and you can help out with this boycott, you should do so. I mean, it's very telling and very powerful that he was able to do this within a day. They shut it down for a day and went back, and the place has been closed ever since. So, and they're making other moves as well. One of the things that he noted was, when he put the story out, everybody was coming at him like he did something. Well, why y'all going there anyway? Why y'all not going to a black-owned establishment? And I kind of agree with him. First of all, we don't own that much. When you look at the reality of it, and this is a brother that has his own business. He works with a lot of black artists, and he does things, and he's trying to do things. And I saw an interview. I was just watching an interview with him as I was getting my notes together with Dr. Boyce Watkins, and you guys know Dr. Boyce Watkins is a well-known black economist who helps people start businesses. And they were talking about some of the things that they're doing in the Houston area, opening other restaurants, and this brother was talking about expanding that into other areas. And and I applaud him for that. And we need to stop always trying to come at people when they're making a stance for something and call them out for stuff that's basically nonsense. I preach black-owned. I preach supporting black businesses. But at the same time, I don't believe in total isolationism. That's what killed Russia, that Iron Curtain, not dealing with the world. You consolidate and you build and you make your culture and your cultural economics strong. But at the same time, you don't live in this world by yourself. Any culture that deals only within themselves is doomed to failure. Any culture that is prominent and has power, they've gone outside of their immediate circle and dealt with nations and cultures all across this world. So yeah, we gotta build black, buy black, support black, but we can't live behind the Iron Curtain. We gotta deal with other nations, other nationalities, and other cultures, and basically that's all he was saying. And it wasn't like a thing where he had all these choices to go and buy black. It was what was convenient, and unfortunately for them, they picked the wrong one because this brother got organized and they're shutting that restaurant down. Again, his name is Jay Morrison. You can check him out at jmorrison.net. And if, like I said, if you're in the Houston area, please help them out and get down with that boycott. Also in the news, we understand P. Diddy is entering the NFL fry. He's talking about buying the NFL, which is, to me, is a good thing. We've always said that we need our own leagues. We need to really think about that. All you movers and shakers out there that got your own companies and doing well, you really need to think about getting together, consolidating that money, becoming a group, and buying up some of these leagues. I understand Ice Cube started the three-man league. Maybe that's something that can be expanded. We need to think about that. Think about buying up some of these franchises and some of these leagues. Opening hospitals, banks. This is the direction that we need to go. But again, it's not about isolating ourselves. It's not about becoming an island within ourselves. It's about building and strengthening and supporting our culture to the point that we can go out, sit around the table, and invite whom we want to our table and deal with other people and other cultures across the country. And I always said, we need to really seriously think about, getting certain things happening, getting those passports, getting those proper training and gun licenses, and getting that dual citizenship. If we can, reach out to the African nations. I plan to do that myself. I did my genealogy check, and my ancestry starts in Northern Africa. So within a year or two, I'll be looking to gain dual citizenship in one of the Northern African countries, and we need to really start thinking about doing that, investing, in these other countries. You guys see last week there was some soldiers that were ambushed in Niger. I ain't even know America was in Niger. What are we doing in Niger? Nobody said anything to the American people. It reminds me of the Vietnam War when they were bombing Cambodia and Laos and all those places, and we didn't even know it. Sending soldiers over there, we didn't even know it until things got nasty. Now we have soldiers in Niger. They got ambushed. What were they doing there? Why were they there? Why, that's our homeland, and we don't even know that it's being invaded. That's why I said we need to really think about dual citizenship and reaching out and investing in these countries and these other nations. Also in the news, I don't know if you guys remember the race riot down in Charlottesville where that young white girl got killed. When the white supremacists went down there with tiki torches talking about they want to protect the Robert E. Lee statue or whatever. Well, there was a young man, DeAndre Harris. He was beaten up by some of the white supremacists. And get this, he's being charged with unlawful injury of one of them, Harold Ray Cruz. And it just strikes me funny that this guy's last name is Cruz. We speak about Puerto Rico, and I don't want to dump on Puerto Rico right now. Those people need help. But at the same time, Puerto Rico, y'all voted for the orange man. He wouldn't have won the White House if y'all didn't vote for him so strongly. So when a lot of y'all been caping for that white supremacist movement, and I'm looking at this guy's last name, Cruz, and I'm kind of wondering, a lot of y'all don't like to admit that grandma, y'all got a black grandma in the closet somewhere that y'all be hiding when company come over. But the truth of the matter is, they're charging DeAndre with assault, and he's the one that walked away with a split head. Meanwhile, the men that are on camera beating this man down aren't in custody, and they're not being charged with anything. DeAndre's lawyer, his name is Lee Merritt. I guess you can look him up if you want to donate to DeAndre and help him with his cause, with his legal fees. Finally, in the news, ladies and gentlemen, last week the FBI issued a notice saying that black nationalism is now the newest threat to national security. So in other words, if you're black and you're conscious and you're talking about empowering black people economically, socially, and politically, you're the new threat to the American way of life, as stated by the FBI. So you guys know what that's all about. So just be careful out there. Don't let things get you into trouble if you can, because they basically painted a black bullseye on the back of anybody that's black, conscious, and talking about empowering our people. All right, so today's main topic is taken from a song about poker, and that's why the advertisement for it was poker chips. And basically, we're going to be talking about, I forgot his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Kenny Rogers wrote a song called "You Gotta Know When to Hold 'Em." All right, and basically, I'm talking about any type of movement that we're doing in the black community. We gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them. We gotta know when to walk away, and we gotta know when to run. And we never supposed to be counting our money when we sitting at the table, because there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. That's the chorus of that song. And what do I mean by that? First of all, you gotta know when to hold them, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're looking at this NFL controversy, and we're looking how it's spreading across all of sports until all of the owners and the commissioners are making preemptive strikes against their players and demanding and making stipulations for them in order to play. All of the owners in the NFL are basically saying if you don't stand for the NFL, like the Cowboys owner came out there with that old phony act he did with them, kneeling with them, and then the next day he comes out saying anybody kneels during the national anthem won't be playing on this team. All right, you have the commissioner of basketball telling the NBA players that they have to stand. Basically violating the human rights or the civil rights of these players by demanding that they stand for the national anthem. And I remember as a teacher, they used to do the Pledge of Allegiance for the flag, and I never stood. I never stood for the Pledge of Allegiance. I never sang that funky song, that old racist song. I never did none of that. My cousin Catherine has joined us. How you doing there, girl? And I never made any of my students stand. And teachers would come to me and ask me, well, why you didn't stand, or why you didn't make your class stand. And I would tell them, a forced pledge is a phony pledge. You can't force nobody to pledge allegiance. Even if they say the words in their heart, they don't have allegiance to what they're pledging to. And I personally don't pledge my allegiance to no country. I don't pledge my allegiance to no flag. My allegiance is to the Creator, my wife and children, and my family, and all of humanity. I pledge allegiance to all of humanity, because the flag, your so-called rights and your citizenship is given to you and can be taken away at the point of a gun. But God, family, and humanity is forever, and that's what I pledge allegiance to. So I don't believe in forcing nobody to stand and sing, and especially to something that had nothing to do with us. When Betsy Ross sewed that first flag together, we were considered 3/5 of a man. When that Francis Scott, a total racist, that dude was a bigot, racist, murdering nutcase. When he wrote that national anthem, it had nothing to do with us. In fact, the verse that did have to do with us, he said, "There's no refuge for the slave," because historically, in case you don't know, a lot of Nubian people at that time sided with the British, because the British told them, if you side with us and fought against the Americas colonies at that time, you and your families would be granted freedom. You would no longer be slaves. So these people went and fought for freedom with the British, and he wrote in his little funky anthem that there'll be no refuge for them, that for them there's nothing but the grave. So, later for that anthem, and, and that flag don't represent who I am. I'm sorry. I love my city, I love my nation, I love my family, but as far as me pledging allegiance to a specific country, a specific political party, or a specific political ideology, that ain't what I'm about, and I don't think anyone should be forced to do that. Like I say, your rights and your freedom are given to you and taken at the point of a gun. And right now, the gun is pointed in the direction of the Constitution, and it supports the Constitution. So as constitutionally, those men have a right to kneel if they want, and they should be able to do so. And again, don't let them hijack the narrative. This ain't got nothing to do with the flag. This don't have nothing to do with the soldiers. This don't have nothing to do with anything except police brutality. And like I said, getting back to the subject at hand, you got to know when to fold them. I mean, you got to know when to hold them. All right? So my message to the NFL players, my message to the NBA players and the baseball players, you got a packed hand. You got to know when to hold them. Don't turn those cards in, guys. Stand together. In fact, if every NBA and NFL player to me should, in defiance, should just kneel and let them know that you're not going to demand anything from us, okay? Because my brother's sending me a message. I'm sorry, but because the slavery's been outlawed and nobody owns another human being. So all that crap that the owner of the Cowboys was talking about NFL players are owned by the team. No, you don't own nobody, man. That's a partnership. And that's what a lot of these guys need to understand. You know, when you sign these contracts, you're signing a partnership deal so that they can rent part of your franchise. You got to look at yourself as a franchise. And you're only signing a partnership. There's no ownership in a human being. You can't tell somebody what to do with their physical person. Next thing you know, because you're on the team, they can put a microchip in you or do whatever else they want with you. It don't work that way. That's not the way this country is set up. All right? And sports teams need to understand, when you look at what's going on around the world and how people are siding with Kaepernick, you know, just let you know, guys, you got the upper hand here. You don't have to listen to these dudes. You got young kids all over the nation following your example. So don't let them intimidate you and make you do anything you know that's not right. This is about police brutality. This is about young people being shot and killed, choked to death, run over with cruisers and shot at point-blank range, unarmed. You know, this is about the inequity in our school system, the inequity in the job market. This is about the prejudice that has been perpetuated, homegrown, and sewn into the American fabric, which that flag is supposed to represent. All right? So this ain't about no soldiers or disrespecting nothing. This is about social, economic, and political justice and the balance of the scales. All right? So don't fold your hand, guys. You got to know when to hold them, and you need to hold this hand. And I know it's hard. It's easier said than done. But this is a good hand you're playing. You know, everybody knows about the history of Germany. You guys know what Hitler's Germany was about. But even now, today, I understand that German soccer players took a knee in response to support for Colin Kaepernick and the movement that he's putting forward. Now, these are Germans. These are the guys that invented the Holocaust in terms of the Jewish nation, all right? And they still see the injustice that's going on. So that should tell you something. NFL players, NBA players, National Baseball players, that should let you know that the world is watching, you know, but more importantly, our children are watching. They're watching what you're doing. They're looking at what your next move is going to be. Patrick Sterling has joined us, a good friend of mine from my York college days. If you guys need an accountant, inbox Patrick. If you see him there in the feed, he's a good accountant. Patrick, I gotta get my taxes to you. I've been saying that, but I gotta get them done. If you need your taxes done or whatever, he has a great accounting firm. He also does a shoe drive for the children of Jamaica. So if you can help him out there, do that as well. But as I was saying, you know, NFL players, all you guys, all you sports, big time sports guys, man, you guys got a good hand. You got to know when to hold them. This is poker. This is a high stakes poker game that we're playing here. And all this brouhaha about if you don't stand for the anthem, you're not going to play. You guys make up over 70% of the league. If all y'all took a knee and said, yo, we just not going to play this weekend, what's going to happen to the NFL that's already in trouble? All right? They're already in trouble because we've been boycotting. A lot of my friends, a lot of Facebook friends around the nation, we've been boycotting and their ratings have been dropping. All right? So what's going to happen if 70% of the league just decide, y'all want to play with us? Well, we're going to play with y'all. We're not going to take the field. All right? What would happen if all the black players in the NBA took a knee? What's the commissioner going to do? Think about that. What would happen in National Baseball League if all of the black players decided they're going to take a knee? What are they going to do? Suspend everybody? The whole sports industry would collapse in on itself. Okay? So know when to hold them. Know when to hold them. Know when you got a packed hand and hold that hand and don't go for the bluff. Don't go for the okie doke. Look them square in the eye because everybody's got to tell. And I guarantee you, their eyes are shaking, their hands are shaking, something's shaking on them because they scared. You got their backs against the wall. Anytime what team white supremacy got to come at you strong like that, that means that they're scared. That means that they're worried. That means that you got an economic grip on them that they can't handle. So know when to hold them, okay? And know when to fold them. Know when your cause just isn't worth it, okay? Know when your cause is taking another direction, all right? Just like when Colin Kaepernick, his first action was to sit. Then he got the letter from the Green Beret and say, yo, man, that seems a little disrespectful. Which, again, it had nothing to do with the flag, had nothing to do with soldiers. But Colin was smart enough to know. He knew when to fold it. And he said, okay, instead of sitting, I'm going to take a knee, And as a people, we got to know when to fold them. We got to know when a cause is worth fighting for and when a cause isn't worth fighting for. When to not necessarily back down, but take a different course of action. Okay? Even Martin Luther King said to himself, I fear that I have integrated my people into a burning house. Okay, we got to be able to look at our course of action and know if that course of action is a good one, if it's the right one, if it's a just one, or do we have to make adjustments? Do we have to change course a little bit? Do we have to make a different move in a different way? Okay, so like the song said, you gotta know when to hold them, you gotta know when to fold them, you gotta know when to walk away. All right, we have a problem of walking away. Our ego's getting away. Our emotions getting away. And that's on all levels, man. We as a people need to understand that. We got to know when to walk away. Brothers, don't stand there arguing with your woman, right or wrong. Learn how to walk away. Leave it alone. Half the time, they're arguing with you about something that ain't got nothing to do with you anyway. Same thing with your sisters. Don't stand there in your man's face dressing him down, trying to disrespect him and take his manhood. Learn how to leave that stuff alone and walk away. Got to know when to hold them. Know when your hand is packed. You got to know when to fold it. When you ain't got jack in that hand and there's no use trying to bluff. You gotta know when to walk away, and you gotta know when to run, man. There ain't no shame in running. He who runs away lives to fight another day. Okay? And most importantly, the last part of that song, you never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. Our people got away, and it's part of our culture. We some show-offs. That's just the bottom line. We like showing off, and sometimes that's not smart, You can't come out of a bank counting millions of dollars, man, walking down crack alley. That's just not smart, There'll be time enough for counting when you get home behind your closed door. Put that money in your bag, a briefcase, or your pocket, and go on about your business, man. Because 9 times out of 10, if you beat somebody, especially at poker, and you sitting there gloating, they mad. And if they can, they're going to meet you outside and bust you upside your head. Okay? So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we got to know when to hold them. NFL, NBA, National Baseball. This is a good hand. Y'all playing a good hand. Y'all got all the aces, all the kings, all the jokers, and the deuces are wild. Don't fold this hand, guys. Don't give in to these guys, man. Don't give in to the orange man. Don't give in to his friends, because that's what all that was about. That's why he came out like that, because all those people are his friends. All right? In fact, there was there's like one NFL owner who's a Muslim, actually. His name is Saeed Khan. He came out in the interview and said straight up, he ran into problems trying to buy this team because the NFL is nothing but a bunch of racist old white men that don't think they're racist, but they are. Based on the things that were said about him and the things that he had to do to get this team, And all of these are Donald Trump's friends. They all donated to his campaign and his inauguration. So this whole thing was just a ploy anyway to get people to feel sorry for the NFL. He played on the fact that people hate him so much that if he comes out against the NFL, people will rally to the NFL and their ratings will go back up and their viewership will go back up and people will start buying tickets. So don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up with the distractor in chief. Continue the boycotts. Let them know that until Colin Kaepernick gets on a team, and more importantly, until they honor their commitment to the black viewership, the black players, and the black communities that support them, they will be boycotted. All right? Until they make a stand against police brutality and they talk about it, and this becomes an issue that we talk about and we address, they will be boycotted. And this should go across all the sports. Don't fold this hand. You got to know when to hold them. And this is a good hand that you guys are holding. You have the world looking at what's going on. You have the world looking at how you're being treated. You have the world looking at how the Constitution that we tout all the time and wave in everybody else's face across this world, they're looking at this test right now and seeing how the Constitution will be upheld. And like I said before, more importantly, you got young people all across this nation looking at you guys and saying, I want to be like you. So what's going to be your next move? Are you going to show them courage? Are you going to show them fortitude? Are you going to show them a spine, a backbone? Or are you going to cave and say, yes, massa, I'll stand because I want my contract? Let's be for real. That's a very important question that you guys got to answer. Let me check my time here. Curtis Mayfield in the background. 2:52. It's about time for me to get up out of here. I know you guys are tired of me talking anyway. But I'm going to back it on down. But before I go, we want to send a birthday shout out to a couple of my friends, my longtime friends and neighbor, Len and Lynette Martin, lived next door from me for years. They had a birthday yesterday. We want to say happy birthday to them. Balder Pedraza, she's a cello player, friend of mine. We want to send a shout out to her. Kevin, we want to send a shout out to you. Happy birthday. Deanna Anderson, my Facebook buddy, shout out to you. Happy birthday. And my longtime friend, Flossie Wilson. Flossie is a singer from Queens, a great artist. We want to send a shout out to you, and we hope you guys have some great birthdays. Also, we want to shout out our white brother Eminem. He went in on the president at the hip hop awards. I don't know if you guys seen that. If you didn't, go to YouTube and or Facebook and just type in Eminem's name, and you gotta see that he went in on him. You know, and everybody trying to come back on talking about, oh well, he did this racist rap or whatever. He probably did, you know, for whatever reason. But all I know is he went in on President Trump, and we want to send a shout out for him for showing courage. Shout out to LeBron James for not backing down and showing courage. And you know, I keep going back to that interview he did. The reporters trying to make him apologize for calling the orange man a bum, and he just stood strong. And it just stuck out in my mind how strong he stood behind his conviction, and he, you know, that was worthy of praise. And if this was the Klingon home world, we would sing a song about him and tell him kapla, because that was something else, man. I respect you, LeBron. Also, shout out to one of my old time students, Stephanie, and her husband Stefan Johansson. They're in the military family. I think she's a staff sergeant, if I'm not mistaken. And I know he just got promoted. They just celebrated their 2-year anniversary. We want to send a shout out to them. She outed his nickname, so we want to send a shout out to Commander Boo Bear. But shout out to Steph and her husband. Also, Tariq Nasheed, the director of Hidden Colors, his movie premiered last night. I won't even speculate as to whether or not it was a success because the theaters are sold out. The shows here in New York were sold out. I tried to get a ticket. I couldn't get a ticket. Both shows are sold out. Shows in Philly are sold out. The shows in California are sold out. And the advanced sales of the DVD on Amazon he's at number 2 of the most popular video on Amazon, and it's not even produced yet. So shout out to Tariq. If you don't know his work, just research the Hidden Colors series. It's up to 4. I think he's going to do 5 pretty soon. But this movie is about the Haitian Revolution. It's called 1804. And he does a documentary about the Haitian Revolution and how the people of Haiti basically gained their independence. And that's the one thing I want to note. Like I say, you got to know when to hold them, guys. Don't let these naysayers and these house Negroes and these coons try to tell you something. Because one thing they did that's in the Haitian Revolution, even though they dealt with white massa, the first thing they did was got rid of the coons. All right? And we need to think about that. You know, that's the first thing. You know, when we look at the movements in history and how they were upset or thwarted, it was usually some coon. You know, research Denmark Vesey, John Brown, and all the rest, and you'll see that the reasons why a lot of our movements fell is because, well, you know, that house nigga talking about Massa, we sick, Massa, they getting ready to burn our house. All right, so, you know, that's just something I want to throw out there. Hey, listen, I got to go. But before I go, our unsung hero of this week is Garrett Augustus Morgan. He was an inventor. Garrett Morgan was born March 4th, 1877 in Paris, Kentucky. In 1895, he got several patents. He invented the precursor for the gas mask, the stoplight. He was a great inventor. If you can, research Garrett Morgan, learn more about him. He is our unsung hero of the week. And with that, I'm going to say peace out. I'm out of here. I'm glad you guys joined me. Don't forget, please let your friends know we're building this platform. We're trying to get the radio station going. I need you guys to go over to the YouTube channel when I repost this next week. Click on it, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, because those are the numbers that I need when I go to the sponsors for the radio station. We don't want your money. We don't want no donations. A lot of people do these podcasts and these different shows, and they ask you for donations. I don't want that. I just need you to click on like and subscribe. That's all I need you to do. Let your friends know, even if they don't watch, just go and subscribe. Subscribe. And if you do spend some money, like I said, get the album, buy the Tears album, and buy the rest of the music and the videos that we are getting ready to produce. I want you to get something for your money, not just throw it away and just give it to me just because you like my pretty face. Because I am pretty. I'm so pretty. Listen, I'm out of here, guys. Peace out. And remember, don't get caught up in the lies that they're telling, that you fail to prepare for the reality that's about to come. See you next week, 2 o'clock. Peace.